Hi, and welcome to this edition of Fresh Hope for Mental Health. Our mission here at Fresh Hope for Mental Health is to empower you to live well in spite of your mental health challenge by sharing insights through interviews, practical tools for living well, encouragement, and courage for overcoming all from a Christian perspective. And now, here's your host, Pastor Brad Hafes.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to this edition of Fresh Hope for Mental Health. I'm Brad Hafes, your host, and our goal here at Fresh Hope for Mental Health is to empower you to live a rich and full life in spite of any kind of mental health challenge, or if you love somebody who has a mental health challenge. As you know, usually I have a guest, and I have a special one today, and I'm just meeting him also along with you. I have with me Tim Boyd, who is a husband and a dad to 5 kids. And Tim is also a seasoned fundraiser, author, comedian, and former pastor with over 20 years of experience in leadership, communication, and nonprofit services. Boy, sounds like he's about done everything. He currently serves as the director of Christian Foster Care Organization and is passionate about equipping others to lead with purpose and joy. He is the author of 2 books, including Loser, the Two-Talent Servant, and God Heard His Cry, which chronicles his family's international adoption journey. So, blending insight, humor, and heart, Tim travels the country performing for fundraisers, churches, and even comedy clubs. He's a sought-after speaker, and we're thrilled that he's going to be joining us here in Omaha for our September 3rd celebration of hope. And so, Tim, I want to welcome you here to Fresh Hope for Mental Health.
Well, I appreciate it. It is my honor to be here, and I thank you for, obviously, I've looked through your website so often. I am so appreciative of the work that you personally are doing, that your group is doing, and the groups that you have across, it looks like across the world. So thank you so much for especially shining a light on something in the church that sometimes looks, like, boy, maybe you should just kind of pray that stuff away or something. So
Yes.
I do. Just personally, our family, we are very much believers in going to counseling, going to therapy, being a part of groups that are Christian, as well as look at scientific evidence of
Exactly.
chemical imbalance and all that kind of stuff. So I really very much appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Tim. And first of all, tell us about you. We don't know that much about you.
Sure.
I mean, I probably know more than what I'm letting on, but tell me about your journey. Who are you? How did you come to this point in your life?
Yeah. So I grew up in South Dakota. My dad was a pastor. He's now retired, living in South Dakota still. Grew up on the fun side of the state with the Black Hills and Mount Rushmore and all that. And then for middle school and high school, we moved to a small town on the other side of the state. And
Ooh, yeah.
it was tough that way, but met some good friends. And then I was a nominal Christian. I understood what it meant. I thought it was a good idea, but also I wasn't really necessarily in a relationship with Jesus, and flamed out at the first college I went to, made some poor decisions, nothing illegal or horrible, but made some decisions that just weren't the best decisions to make.
Mm-hmm.
And the way God worked, my roommate from that first college ended up visiting with me just a few months after I dropped out. And he was going to this little Christian college in Nebraska. And so I said, I'm going to come. Yeah, Nebraska Christian College, which now doesn't exist anymore.
It was here in Omaha, right?
It was. Now I'm old enough that we were in Norfolk, Nebraska, but yeah, it was in Omaha for several years. Yep.
My! In Norfolk, I grew up in Wisner.
Oh yeah, yep. It's a beautiful small world. Yep.
We used to shop all the time in Norfolk.
Right. Yep. And I would have been at the mall eating at, I think it was Imperial Palace was our favorite spot. But
there you go.
Yeah. But no, and then went to that little Christian college, not really knowing what I was going to do, but that's where God led me, because that's where he finally said, do you want to follow me or not? And and of course I'm not sure we have a huge audience here, so I just want to make sure I'm saying that a bit tongue in cheek, but it was felt as though the Holy Spirit was guiding me to say, you need to really do this now. And so that was wonderful.
Cool.
Met my wife there, and we now have been married 26 years. We have
Mm.
5 kids from ages 24 down to 10.
Oh, wow.
One's an international adoption. And to be honest, now I've never been diagnosed. But I have always had anxiety, just in some anxiety. And I finally, maybe 10, 15 years ago, was put on a small dose of an antidepressant, and that changed my life. I kid you
Wonderful.
not. I was always worried something was going to go bad, something was wrong. And when something good happened, and I just felt the feeling of dread. And I'm saying this now at 47. I had no idea at
Hmm.
the time, but
Hmm.
I just felt the feeling of dread all the time. And a doctor finally, and just I'm just talking about a general, just a family practitioner,
Hmm.
listened and said, "Why don't we try this? If you don't like it, you can come off of it." And he was a believer, and I didn't need
Hmm.
talked into it, but he said a lot of times pastors don't want to try these medicines because they
Oh,
think they're
yeah.
not spiritual.
Yep.
I mean, he said that, and he said, and I said, "Oh goodness, no, I'll try it." I tried it, and within, I want to say it was a few days, but within at least a few weeks, I was crying, and I told my wife, I said, "I didn't know life could be like this." And she said, she goes, many of us feel like this all the time. And it's not that I was walking on air or everything was great. It's just I didn't have an overwhelming feeling of dread all the time. So
Yeah.
that was a huge life changer. And it wasn't as though people weren't trying to help me or, anything like that. It's just
Right. Right.
I had not hit the right area or something. So that was huge. And so now we're just, I guess if you ask who I am, I get to be a really positive, happy guy, which I am naturally.
Uh-huh.
And I get to travel the country making people cry and then laugh, and
Wonderful.
use it for the glory of God. And I only serve Christian organizations.
Hmm.
I do mostly fundraising. I'm funny. I'm not the funniest person in the world, but I can hold my own. But God has just really blessed me with being able to articulate the mission that I'm helping at that time, and really get the word out to their donors, about why
Yeah.
they need that support. And so it's just a neat calling. And I, by
Yeah.
no means do I mean this arrogantly. It's just I feel like I'm stealing from God, and He lets me do this. So
Well,
I get
that's
to
a
end.
great way to feel about what you do.
Right,
Yeah,
right, right.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Well, you said
yeah.
you weren't officially diagnosed, but I always tell people it's because in Fresh Hope we have a lot of loved ones who attend, and then they'll say, "Well," and I've been taking a little anxiety medicine, and I always say, "Well, welcome. Now you are a person with a mental health challenge," and they're
There you
like,
go. You
"What?"
know what?
And the
There you go.
reality
Yep.
is that in order to be given medicine, they have to give you a diagnosis. They may not tell you, but they have to write it down for the insurance purposes.
So now I can say I'm diagnosed, and I heard it from Pastor Brad. That's right.
Well, and it's kind of crazy. Pastors have a lot of anxiety. A lot of pastors
Oh
have
my goodness.
anxiety, and a
Yep.
lot of speakers have anxiety.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And a lot of comedians that I've met have anxiety, and especially
Agreed.
about getting up and performing. But I think sometimes that's the fuel that they use, also, kind of for whatever reason. But anxiety and depression go hand in hand. And
Mm.
more people that I know that have clinical depression also have anxiety. And so sometimes I think anxiety is that low grade kind of thing. It's maybe not depression, but if somebody doesn't get it treated and learn how to overcome it, it can wear them down to the point of depression.
Sure. Sure.
So,
Sure.
but anyway, I just went down a rabbit trail, but I wanted to
Oh,
welcome you as a
thank you.
brother with a challenge. Cha-
Oh golly, thank you. Absolutely.
Challenges are of varying degrees, so I'm not,
That's right.
you know, but well, so you met your wife, and you said 26 years you've been
That's
married?
right.
Okay.
Yep, that's right.
And tell us about 5 kids. I
Oh,
mean,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh boy.
Yep. So that just so people wonder, with comedians, where does your stuff come from? Well, I've been married 26 years and I have
Yep.
5 kids. So
Yes.
that's where it all comes from. But yeah, so our oldest, so really we have the original three, all biological. We actually, two of them were born in Omaha at Methodist Hospital there. I
Oh,
was on
yeah, sure,
staff
sure.
at a local church. Yeah, yeah. So we had uh, the first three, they're all 2 years apart. And they now are all out of the house, 24, 21, and 18, all enrolled in college,
Yeah.
going different directions. So that was what we were going to have. We're going to have those three. And then a few years passed, and my wife just said, "Boy, God is calling us to adopt a little boy from another country."
Hmm.
And that is, we're very, and I say this as jokingly, but it's also very true. We're very conservative Christians, so like when someone says, "Hey, God told me to tell you," instantly I go, "Well, He can tell me directly," and please know that I mean that also
Sure,
as, but He
sure.
can also use other people, so I'm not going to discount that.
Right,
So,
right.
anyways, she said that, and I said, "When did God tell you this?" And she said, "Well, during the sermon today." And I was the pastor that preached that sermon that day. So,
Oh,
uh, so
you
we,
couldn't say,
yeah,
well, you heard wrong.
that's right. That's right. So yeah, so we did the process of adopting, and of course, when you're adopting from another country, another race, another continent, there's a lot of questions you ask yourself of, is this, you know, is this the right thing to do? Is
Right.
this the right thing for him? For so much
Sure,
stuff, and
sure, sure.
so God walked us through all that. My wife, of course, did most of the. Of course, I shouldn't have said it that way. My wife did most of the heavy lifting. I need to give her that credit
Wow.
of all the stuff beforehand. So now, he well, I'll share this that night at our Fresh Hope. But he was cast aside on the side of the road when he was born. So he
Oh,
would have died had someone not heard him cry. That's the title there. And then, secondly, he needed major skull surgery, or he would not have made it.
mm,
But he wouldn't be alive today.
wow.
But he is. He's now about 6'2", and he plays football for
Oh, wow.
our local high school team, which is a really good team. So,
Uh,
and now he's 15, and so now we're dealing with some of that. Trauma brain that he has. I mean, we were placed with him when he was very, very little, but yet he still has some attachment and
oh, of
trauma
course. Yeah.
going on there. And so it didn't start showing itself until he was about 50, yeah, honestly, until about the last year. So
Sure.
not that we were like, oh, I guess we'll be fine. But
Right, right.
boy, the longer everything's fine, the longer you think it's going to be fine.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then I've heard far worse stories. So he's not in jail or, any of those just horrible
Sure.
situations.
Sure.
But we do need to parent him differently than our biological, because he has a different growing up story. So that's there. And
Hmm.
then that's four. And then we had an unplanned child. And yes, we know how you get pregnant. And we we have a child who's now 10, and he has been diagnosed with eight wait yes, both ADD and ADHD, and ODD, which is oppositional
Hmm.
defiance disorder,
Yes.
which for us was very interesting, because at that point we had 4 kids already. So we noticed things in him that are like, this is beyond anything that we have experienced. And
Hmm.
so working with psychologists, psychiatrists,
Yes.
physical therapists, all that, we got to the point now where he's entering 5th grade, and he's able to fall asleep on his own for the first time in his life. So that has been a heavy, also an unbelievably rewarding, wonderful. He's awesome. But as well, it has been a pretty stressful little boy.
Yes.
He's also unbelievably intelligent. So you mix it all, and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like, boy, you are worn me out. But
Yeah.
it's wonderful, and so that is our family.
Yeah. Well, I have I have two adult kids, and our son is adopted. And
Oh,
he was
wonderful.
an adoption where he was not placed until he was 3 months old. And
Okay.
so we know about attachment issues and all those
Yep.
kinds of things and how
Yeah.
they show up. I really think puberty messes with the
Yes.
brain more than what we know of, and it really stirs up stored trauma and those kinds of things. It really kind of opens that up, I think. But
Yes. Yes.
yeah, well, and we do a lot of trauma work in Fresh Hope or with Fresh Hope. We're in line with our. My wife, for instance, is a master facilitator for the Trauma Healing Institute out of the American Bible
Awesome.
Society in Philadelphia.
Awesome.
And so we do a fair amount of trauma groups throughout the year. And yeah, and the wonderful thing is this young man has a mom and dad who are open to figuring out how to parent him.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing because sometimes parents just kind of assume that this kid is like every other kid and blah, 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 and the trauma goes deeper then.
I agree, and I don't want to gloss over that in case there's someone else listening who was where I was just a few months ago. I did not realize that. I did not realize I would have to parent much differently. And like I've gone through some trauma informed parenting classes,
Yes. Yeah.
and my goodness, did they help me go, oh wait, I am parent. Who am I parenting for? Am I
Mm-hmm.
parenting for me or am I parenting for him?
Mm-hmm.
And there definitely was some guilt that came in to go, I have parented all my children for me more than for them.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's a hard wake up.
Well, and
Yeah.
I think sometimes we parent worrying about what other people see or
Oh, I
what it
know.
says about
Yes.
us. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, my son is 43, going to be 44. And so, gosh, he's about your age. He's just a little
Sure.
bit
Sure.
younger than
Yep.
you.
Yep. Yep.
And back then, there was no trauma informed parenting classes or anything.
Oh, yeah.
No, I had
Yeah.
never
Yep.
heard of the trauma
Yep.
anything. And we just knew that he was extremely bright. But we
Yeah.
didn't know how bright he was because we'd travel in the car with him going places and he would start just spouting forth all this stuff like how things stay in space and blah blah blah. Well, my wife and
Wow.
I, we didn't know. We just thought he was just giving us a lot of bull, from the back seat. And so we just kind of let it go that he was really good at making stuff up.
Right.
And
Right. Right.
here it
Right.
was that he was brilliant and we had
Yeah.
no clue. So
Oh, that's
yeah.
awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
enjoy these second to the or the last two because I always say parenting teenagers it is just so frustrating and so that I had to remind myself that as long as we made it through and I didn't kill them, the reward would be God would give us the reward of
Right.
grandchildren.
Right. Right.
and
Right.
and it's true because then you get to say, golly, do you remember when?
Yep. 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 Oh, that's wonderful.
Well, so you pastored here in Omaha
Yeah, that's right.
during
I was on.
during what
Sorry.
years? Or
Oh boy. It would have been, I want to say, '03 to '09.
okay.
So 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just sounds like it was just yesterday to me.
It should be.
Well, know, yeah, one of the guys in our group the other night was saying how he had done something for 7 years, his whole adult life. And I'm like,
Oh, come on.
let me tell you something. When you get old enough, you're going to go, what did I do? Oh, I don't
Right.
even
Right.
remember that was a flash in the pan.
Yep. Yep.
So, but, well, tell me about you're the head of an organization. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm a director of a local foster care organization, and it's pretty unique. So, and matter of fact, the way that God works, I was on the board of this organization for 7 years, that kids full adult life, and they were looking for a full-time director. At the same time, I was starting to travel for the comedy and fundraising, and you can't
Okay.
really travel a lot and still be a good pastor.
Yeah.
So that all kind of worked together. But our organization is very simple. We provide hope and homes to children in foster care. So we have a campus of 8 6-bedroom, 6.5 bath homes where Christian families can move in from all over the country, from wherever. They can move into them, and they live in them essentially for free, but they
Hmm.
must foster a minimum of 4 children. So
Wow.
it's a big calling,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the idea is to keep sibling groups together. And it's only in our a little 3 county area here in Florida. And people have asked us if we want to grow, and we said it, once every child in our county is in a Christian foster home, then we will
There
move
you
to the
go.
next county,
There you
which,
go.
you
Wow.
know,
Yeah.
you know.
It sort of sounds like the model of Boys Town, with
Oh,
the
sure.
homes, at least.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Very, very much in that same area. That's exactly right. Yep.
Well, Tim, if you would, just give a word of encouragement to anybody who struggles with anxiety or any kind of just encouragement in the need of hope. Would you mind?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'll tell you what I pray for myself, for my wife, and for my kids every morning. The first thing I do is I pray the Lord's Prayer. And then, second, I pray that each one of us will take our identity from God, that we
Mm,
will not take our identity from anywhere else in this world, no matter who the person is, no matter what we're reading, what we're seeing, but that our identity is purely in who God thinks we are through, of course, his incredible sacrifice of Jesus Christ on the cross.
yeah.
We are we are the beloved, to quote Henry Now, we are the beloved. We are the ones who God says, I love you
Mm,
so much that I have sent my son to die for you.
mm,
And if we can just look at every moment of our lives going, you know what, no matter what, God loves me. God loves me more than I understand. And that means that I have value and I
mm-hmm.
matter. And that means that no matter what happens, God is with me.
Yep. Yeah. That's wonderful. Yeah. Well, I just really look forward to having you here in Omaha. For those of you who aren't aware, on September 3rd, which is a Thursday evening here in Omaha at Relevant Church, we'll be having our, I don't know how many numbers of Celebration of Hope. And it's an evening of fun and fellowship and food and has some comedy, as well as we'll have some touching stories of hope. And it's an evening where we celebrate what God is doing within Fresh Hope, but also a time where we ask people to partner with us in the work of Fresh Hope. So we'd love for you to join us here in Omaha. You can go to freshhope.us, and there's at the top, there's a little button that says Celebration of Hope, or you can watch it online from anywhere. And you can also contact us through there to figure out or to find out how to do that. In my case, it would be to figure out how to do it, but we would love to have you join us one way or the other, either in person or online. And Tim, we are just anxious to meet you in person, and we look forward to it.
I am unbelievably excited. Thank you so much. And I got to say, Pastor Brad, you are the nicest person, and God has made you specifically to be able to work with people that need your help. I am
Oh,
just blown away talking to you the last 20 minutes with how caring and gentle you come across. Thank you so much.
well, thank you. You're kind. I'll send you $20 after this, okay? Or I'll slip it to you when you're here. Um, well, I look forward to it. And thank you so much for spending some time with me. And for you who are listening, thank you for listening to this podcast. I pray and hope that it's been helpful to you. And yes, we'd love to have you join us on September 3rd. Just go to our website, freshhope.us. Now, if you're listening on iTunes, if you would give us a review, that helps the algorithms find us. And the joke has always been in our family. At one point, I believe Fresh Hope was listed as the #1 mental health podcast on iTunes, and that was many years ago. And my son said to me, "Well, Dad, how many are there? 3?" So I have no idea where we are today, and it doesn't matter because we would love for you to help us get the word out by letting your friends know about the podcast. And, if you'd like to talk to Tim, I'm sure you can email him. We'd get you in touch with him. Or if you have ideas of what you'd like me to talk about or who you'd like us to interview, or maybe you have a story and a journey that you'd like to share. Email me at pastorbrad@freshhope.us, pastorbrad@freshhope.us. I do read every single email, and I get back to you sooner or later. It might be later than sooner, but I will get back to you. And as far as groups go, if you need support, you need hope, you need anything, we have videos, we have all kinds of resources. Just check out our freshhope.us website, as well as we have groups online and in person, and they're very helpful. We have a whole bunch of other stuff, but we'll leave that for another time. Again, this has been Fresh Hope for Mental Health. I'm Brad Hafes, your host. Thank you so much for listening. And until the next time, may He hold you with His hope.
You've been listening to Fresh Hope for Mental Health. If you have an opportunity, please review, share, and subscribe to the Fresh Hope for Mental Health podcast on iTunes or on the service that you use. We encourage you to share our podcast on social media with your friends and family. Previous podcasts of Fresh Hope for Mental Health can be found at freshhopeformentalhealth.com, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, and iTunes. Fresh Hope is one of the leading networks of faith-based peer support groups internationally. For more information about Fresh Hope, go to freshhope.us.